Hello, indie authors. This is Valerie Ihsan with the Indie Author Mentor Show. And today I am doing episode 6, and it is April 10th, 2019 as I record this. Today I'm talking about keywords and pricing and book descriptions. So we're going to go through the next 5 steps on my publishing and writing a publishing checklist that you can get on my website for free. First, we're going to do a personal update. What I have for you this week is finally, hooray! I feel like I should be throwing confetti or something. You can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts. So you can subscribe to me on Apple Podcasts. And if you have been listening to the show and you like it, then please leave me a star review there on Apple Podcasts. That way folks who want the nitty-gritty of self-publishing can find the show there. Okay, I've put in a few more hours into the How to Write a Novel or Memoir book, and I'm actually almost done with it. I have a couple more sections to write, and then I'll be writing the next book in the series, The Nitty-Gritty of Self-Publishing. So once all 3 of those are finished and I have covers for them and they're edited, then I will do a rapid release. And my current plan is to experiment with publishing them in the KDP Select program, which I have not done. Well, I have done it before. I did it with my novel, The Scent of Apple Tea, but I only had it in for 2 cycles of 90 days each, so 180 days of being in KDP Select. So then I pulled it because I wanted to be able to offer it on my website for free. And you can't do that if you're in KDP Select's program. So yeah, all my other books are wide. I haven't really played around too much with being in KDP Select, but I feel like this series is different. I mean, it's totally different. It's a different genre. So I feel curious to play with a different genre and a series of books in KDP Select. So I will let you know on this podcast how that works out and what the difference is to have one set of books in KDP Select and another, and then other titles being in wide. So I guess I'm going to do both and see what works best. It's all an experiment anyway, and all of the platforms change a lot through the years. So, one format of self-publishing might work great for 2 or 3 years, and then something shifts and you have to keep up with the times and do some shifting yourself and pivot and do another thing to make it work. So what else? I think probably that's it for my personal update. So now I want to thank new patrons, and we have a bumper crop today. I'm super happy. Thank you so much for considering being a patron, and thank you so much to the patrons that have already pledged, and thank you so much for the new patrons this week. Thank you to Anthony Sinclair of Eugene, Oregon. He is the author of a series of travel fantasy books in the Rucksack universe, a really cool world that he created. He's also in my business mastermind group. That's how I know him. And he puts out a beer review once a month with his wife. They're really cute videos. I really like them, and I'm a patron of his, and so I get to see those beer reviews before anybody else. So that's really fun. You should check him out on Patreon. Thank you to Anika Harrison of Eugene, Oregon. Thank you to Tamara Sue of Eugene. Full disclosure, she's my best friend and soul sister. So thank you, Tamara, for supporting me yet again in a dream of mine. It really is touching. Thank you also to Jenny Root of Eugene, Oregon. She's a really great friend of mine and a poet as well. Thank you to Valerie Brooks. She's a noir author, which is cool. Her debut novel is Revenge in 3 parts. So you can check that out. She just published that. Well, she did a rapid release cool thing too. So she wrote 3 different novellas, and she published the novella as she wrote them, and then she's combined them. She wrote it in such a way, the novellas, in such a way that they could all be combined into one whole novel, which is different than a box set or omnibus. Those are 3 different books all put together in one book. And even though that's what she did, she did it in such a way that it just continued, I guess. I don't know how to say that. It transitions well, and so it becomes just one novel. It's really neat. You should check it out. I've read it. So thank you so much to all those people. It really means a lot that you support this show and my desire to help other indie authors like you. The support of my patrons on Patreon helps make this show and other projects possible. Plus, being a patron of the arts is a totally cool thing to do. Joining my Patreon community also gets you sneak peeks into my creative world, allows you to interact with me directly, and rewards you with exclusive bonus content you can't get anywhere else. For less than a cost of a tasty hot beverage or a pack of gum, as low as $1 a month, you too can become a patron of the arts and me. Find me at patreon.com/Valerie Ihsan, IHSAN. Okay, back to reviews, or resources, excuse me. I spoke at a Willamette Writers meeting last week and had offered the audience members my resource list that has, I think it's almost 3 pages long now. I've just got a collection of authors I like to follow, blogs I like to read, podcasts I like to listen to, online courses that I think are worth looking into, stuff like that. So it's a big resource list for writers. And I had a lot of people contact me from the meeting that said, "Oh, I didn't get a copy. Can you send me one?" So I've decided that it's a pretty valuable piece of, it's a pretty valuable list. It's got really great things on it that I admire and like to share with other writers. So I've decided to put it on my, I'm going to send it to the people on my mailing list. So if you want a copy of my resource list, then you can go to my website, ValerieIhsanAuthor.com, IHSAN, and sign up to the student list. So if you go to the home page and you scroll down, right underneath the orange button that says get your free book, that's the novel that I give away. Underneath that is a blue button that says subscribe. So that's for the writers. Fill out that form and subscribe to the mailing list, and then you'll get the free resource list. So I hope that will be helpful to people. Okay, main topic, keywords, pricing, and book descriptions. Okay, so the next thing I do, last week we talked about beta readers and more editing and revising and book blurbers and all that. So now you're going to research and determine your keywords and your sales categories for your book. I use a software called KDP Rocket, and I think that's totally worth it. It's the way you can do it for free is by going to the Amazon store to books. Go to the search bar and look up Kindle books, that's probably the best way. Look up Kindle books, and then when you are type in some word that you think would be a good keyword for your book, and just type it in and see what autofills there are, so you can see what people are already searching for in Amazon that would cater towards your niche, towards your genre that you're writing in. So, if you're writing a diet book and you want to type in, maybe it's on ketosis, the keto diet that's really trendy right now. You could type that in and see what phrases, what keyword phrases people are looking up, so you can maybe pull those phrases and tally a list and keep a list of combinations of keywords that you could put down as your keywords for your book. The cool thing about KDP Rocket is, well, first of all, if you do it by hand through Amazon, then it's kind of time consuming because you have to like type in this word and see what comes up and type in that word and see what comes up. And it kind of takes a long time to hunt around and see what other books in your niche are listing as their keywords. And, it's a very time consuming process. So if you use a software like KDP Rocket, which I think is like, I should have looked it up before this. I think it's probably like $70 or something like that. But the cool part about using KDP Rocket is you can put in your keyword that you're thinking about, and it'll spit out like hundreds of them. And it will also compare other titles that have those same keywords and give you an idea of what top selling books in your niche market use as their keyword phrases. And also I want to make it clear too, this has come up before in questions to me, the keyword phrases are not, okay, let me back up. Amazon allows you 7 keyword phrases. When you're uploading your book and you're putting in all the metadata, it will let you put in 7 keyword phrases, keywords or keyword phrases. So you can put one word like thriller as a keyword. Now that's not a particularly good keyword because there's I don't even know how many, thousands, millions, not millions probably, but maybe books that would fall under a thriller keyword. So it's not going to be a good word to use for your keyword, because if someone typed in thriller, because there are pages and pages and pages and pages of thriller books that would fall under that keyword, your book is just going to get lost in the mix. They're not going to find it. It'll be like on page 100 or something. So the key is to find the keyword phrase that is succinct enough that not a lot of other people will have that. It's niche enough. Like maybe you would type in Victorian thriller gaslighting or something like that. So if gaslighting is a major theme in your book and it takes place in Victorian England and it's a thriller, you can use all of those keywords, and if someone is looking specifically for a thriller taking place in the Victorian era, then there probably aren't too many people using that keyword search. So your book will show up more easily than if you just used thriller. I hope I'm making that clear. So if you use KDP Rocket, you can type in keywords and find the ones that they have nice charts and different colors and on the software, so it makes it really easy to see which keywords perform better. And so you can more quickly and more efficiently come up with the keyword phrases for your metadata. Now back to Amazon and the 7 keyword phrases. So you can put one keyword like thriller, or you can put a keyword phrase like Victorian thriller gaslighting. And those 3 words count as one keyword phrase. So you can have a string of words equal one keyword phrase, and you can have another string of words. So it's a way to get more keywords in by using those phrases, but you don't want to have too long of a phrase because that's not what people are typing in. So you need to be able to pick and this goes for categories too. So you need to be able to pick categories and keyword phrases that, again, are phrases that people are looking for, categories that people are searching, but not generic enough that you'll get lost. So it's kind of a hard line to follow. And so something like KDP Rocket will help you do that more efficiently. So I recommend that. I did a little bit of research. I watched a webinar, and I've heard this guy talk on a couple of podcast interviews, and his name is escaping me at the moment, but his business is called K-Lytics. So it's K-Lytics, like analytics, but it's K-Lytics. And so he creates reports. So you can purchase a report on a specific genre, and it will give you loads of data about readers and keywords. And so it's just another tool that you can use that will give you information that might help you publish your work to its best, doing the metadata and having your metadata be the best that it can be. Because if the metadata is great, then more people will be able to find your book and purchase it. Okay. Once you come up with your keywords and categories, I would keep that information somewhere that you can find it again, because chances are, especially if you're doing any kind of A/B testing or ad campaigns or something, you're going to want to know, you might want to be changing those keyword phrases and categories, moving your book around to a better place, having new keywords. Maybe the keywords you have are just kind of too generic, and if you tweak them a little bit, then you might get more visibility on those online stores. So I would keep the list that you have somewhere, maybe in Scrivener under a research folder or something like that. But just have it available so that when you do want to change them, if you do, you can see, what it was before, and you can mark, if you change this one and how many books sold after you changed that one. It's just another way of tracking data. Okay, other things that you're going to want to do at this time are decide what price you want to put your books at, and also research what price for what location is best. There is I have a little pricing list up on my whiteboard. I'll read it to you. The first thing I would say is, okay, let's just start with your paperback. So generally in the United States, a trade size paperback goes for $14 or $15 usually. So $14.95 or $14.99. So something that ends in that 95 or 99 in the US. And of course, it depends on how big the book is and how much it costs to print it, and how much it costs to do the, if you're having it printed and delivered and you're doing print on demand, which I recommend, then I'm going to pull out this piece of paper here, your discount. Is this the right paper? Yes. Okay, so you have to factor in a 55% discount for your distribution company. So say you've got your book at Barnes & Noble. Your novel paperback is at Barnes & Noble, and you've got it listed for $14.95. You're going to have to figure out your retail price, $14.95, minus 55%, because that's what Barnes & Noble is going to want to have the book discounted at. And then and then also the printing costs. And so you have to factor that all in so that you can figure out what royalty payment you are going to want. I try to go about $2 a book. Anywhere from $1.50 to $2 is what I would like to receive when I sell a book. So I have to add in the printing costs and the discount for the distribution, and then I can come up with the price for the retail. And then when you change your prices for different countries, what I do is pull up the currency converter next to a little window next to my window where I'm adding all this pricing data in, and I come up with the price in Canadian dollars and Australian dollars and New Zealand dollars and the British pounds and, you know, all of the places that you want to sell your book globally and what the price will be there. And the reason you want to do that, most places that you upload your manuscript to will have an automatic currency converter. So if you put in, you're selling your ebook for $4.99, then the currency conversion to British pounds might be, I don't know, $3.61 or it might be over. I don't know. It just depends on which way the dollar's going for and the currency in that other country that you're pricing out at. But to buy a book for $3.61 is weird. Like marketing, philosophy, psychology, it needs to end in the 99 or it looks weird, and then you're just giving your customer one more chance to not buy your book. You know, if they're scrolling through Amazon and everything is this price, this price, this price, it's all pretty much the same, and then all of a sudden you come across one that says it has a weird ending like 61 cents. It's just going to be weird, and you'll pass up because you think, what's wrong with this, and not buy it. So you'll have to go in and change all of those automatically converted prices to the price that you want. Now, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself because you can't actually do this until you upload your book, and we're not ready for that yet. But you can still decide what price you want to put on your books, and you know, pretty much the best way to do that is just see what other books the same size and in the same genre are selling for. Nonfiction sells for a little bit more than fiction does. Novels that are really big cost more money because of the printing cost. So you'll have to just research that by going to your local bookstore and seeing what books are listed as, or going on stores like Kobo.com and seeing what the digital books are selling for. So just decide on what your price is. And I will tell you this little tip on pricing though now, since we're talking about it. So if you have your, I'm talking digital books now. So you have your price for your digital book. Let's say you put it at $3.99. So whatever you convert, whatever the conversion rate is for Canadian dollars, Australian dollars, and New Zealand dollars, you want to round it up to the next 99 ending. So if it ends up being $3.99 in the US and maybe the conversion rate is like $4.79 or something like that, you want to round it up to $4.99. And if you are dealing with British pounds, you want to round down for the UK prices. So if your book is $3.99 in the US and it comes in at, you know, $3.61 or something like that, then you want to round down to $2.99. So you want to round it to the nearest, round down to the nearest 99. And if you're going euros, you could do the nearest 49 or 99, whichever one. Those are common endings for euros. So that's a little tip that I got along the way, and I pass it on to you. Okay, keep a copy of this also in your files so you know how much you're charging for these different places, because you will, when you go to upload, you're uploading in multiple places and they're going to ask you the same question every single place. So if you have it written down somewhere, it'll be way easier and you won't have to pull up the converter again and go through all the whole rigmarole. Okay, also keep in mind that, I guess I'll just make this a rule right now. When you go to the Indian market, make it as low as the platform will allow you to do. So in rupees, the lowest I can get in any place is 49 rupees. And I don't know what the conversion rate is for that. It's pennies probably. But that's kind of beside the point. There are millions and millions of English-speaking people in India. So if you can sell millions and millions of copies and get like 5 cents for every book that you sell, that would be pretty amazing. But the other thing that you should know is, 49 rupees is still too high for a book. Books do not sell for a lot of money in India. It is just the culture there. And if you go to a place that sells, if you go to a digital online store in India, I think Flipkart, I don't think they sell books anymore, but Kindle, Amazon has an Indian store. So if you go to an Indian market and look at how much they're charging for best-selling books, like really great authors that do well in those countries, and they're best-selling authors, those books sell for 9 rupees. So 49 rupees is way too expensive, but it's the lowest that these platforms will let you sell at. So just change it to 49 rupees no matter what cost you're putting your book at. Another tip. Okay. Let's talk about book descriptions. So book descriptions, I made a little flyer, and most everything that I'm getting that I'll be telling you about book description, I got from Bryan Cohen. So he has a company called Best Page Forward that you can hire to write your book description for you. So you don't have to do it. So you can send this out. You can delegate it to the team at Best Page Forward and not have to do it yourself. But if you are doing it yourself, I got these tips from Bryan Cohen himself through I think it was a free video series he had on his website. So book descriptions should be 100 to 300 words long, so not long at all. And you have 4 sections to your book description. One is the hook, one is the character/problem highlight, one is the selling paragraph, and one is the call to action. So a lot of people don't put the call to action in. That's a mistake. And a lot of people have struggles with the character problem highlight and the hook. So I'm going to just go through my little worksheet really quick. And if you want more information about that, feel free to email me. But the master, of course, is Bryan Cohen. And he also wrote a book called Sizzling Synopsis or something like that, how to write a sizzling synopsis. So another great resource for you as well. So the hook is a short and emotional phrase or question. It's not even a sentence. It doesn't have to be a sentence. It can just be one really famous one that Adam Croft, I think, wrote, could you murder your wife to save your daughter? So that's the first line of the back of the book description. Could you murder your wife to save your daughter? One I have in my book is just 3 words: love, courage, family. So that's the hook. That's the beginning. So if people are interested in reading family dramas and character studies, then they'll be intrigued by those 3 words. They'll know what the book is about, thematically, just by that hook. Another one, an abandoned warehouse, a runaway with nothing to lose, a deranged bomber. So that's the hook for that. Now, the next thing you're going to write, that's not even the paragraph. That's just the first line of the book description. So then next paragraph is the character problem highlight. This is where you introduce the character and you tell what the problem is. Only a couple of sentences. You do not want to write a synopsis to the book here. Don't put a paragraph of plot stuff. Readers don't care about that right now. They're trying to quickly decide as they're scrolling through Amazon or looking at backs of the books in bookstores if they want to put this book in their cart. So just a highlight to grab the reader's attention. And you might think about those keyword phrases also at this time. So things that are special about your book that you might want to highlight can be in this paragraph or a couple sentences. Like, for instance, if the story takes place in an Amish homestead, lots of people are interested in how the Amish live. So if it has anything to do with Amish, that could be in the paragraph. So that would capture someone's attention too. The selling paragraph is using language like, if you liked blank, you'll love blank. Or if you enjoy strong female protagonists, you'll love Jennifer Bennett's debut novel of courage and redemption. If you liked Terry Pratchett, you'll love Anthony Sinclair's Rucksack Universe series. Hi, Anthony. So things like that. That's the selling paragraph. And you can put more thematic language in there too that will match up with the themes in your book. The call to action is the last part, and this is the part that most people want to leave out because it sounds kind of salesy to them, but it really, 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 really works if you put it in there. And that's just buy now. So buy now and learn the secrets of keeping your weight down forever. Or click here to download your free cheat sheet for avoiding DUIs, or stuff like that. So having that, telling the reader what you want them to do will make it really clear to them, and they'll be like, oh, okay, I'll click here now. So make sure that's part of your selling description too. So we've got the hook, the character problem highlight, the selling paragraph, and the call to action. No more than 300 words. Other things about book descriptions, you don't have to write the book description after you write the book. I know several authors that write the book description before they write their book to help keep them focused and on track so that they don't spiral off into something else. Oh, yeah. This is what the book is about. Let's stick with that. Now, obviously, by the time you're done writing the book description, might very well be useless because it really did turn out to be about something different and you want to change the language or something. So, once you write it, it's not like set in stone. And also, even if you publish it and it's up on Amazon and Kobo, it's not set in stone either. You can change it. But if it's printed on the back of your book, those are harder to get rid of and to change. Of course, with print on demand, you can change anything. But if you have a selection, like I buy a chunk of books to have in my closet for book signings and whatever. And if it's on a bookshelf somewhere for sale, then you obviously can't change the back of the selling paragraph on the back of the book at that point, for that copy anyway. Also, look at books that you own that you really like and see what those book descriptions read like. What made you buy that book based on that book description? When you read that, what stood out for you? What made you say, oh, that looks like a good book? Emulate that. Okay, so we talked about pricing. We talked about researching and determining keywords and sales categories. We talked about book descriptions and that back cover copy, or that you could hire out for something like that too. And so at this point, keeping in mind that you're going to be publishing this, you write your book description, start a little file or a document where you've got the book description and the picture, an author picture and an author bio, and if you've got a publishing logo for your publishing company, which you don't have to have, but if you have one, then keep this all together, because you're going to want to send this whole document to the cover designer at a certain stage. So it's nice to start collecting it all in one place for you and for the cover designer. Also, we talked about in one of the other previous episodes about the book blurber. So when you get the book blurb back from the author that read the book and wrote the little testimonial quote that you're going to put on the cover of the book, put that on your little document that you're collecting information on for the cover designer as well. So write the book description and back cover copy, add the blurb when you get it back from the blurber, author bio and pick and publishing logo all in one document, and then email that to the cover designer. And they'll be super happy to have that information early if you have it early before they're done, certainly they can't finish the job until that stuff has been sent to them. So this is a longer episode than I wanted it to be. Getting too many tips squeezed into one episode. Maybe I should think about that next time and talk about less things so that these episodes are shorter. Thanks so much for listening today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.